deadly insurrection has launched this country into unprecedented territory.
Yeah, now in a historic move, congressional Democrats have once again introduced articles of impeachment against President Trump. So let's bring in now to talk about this a rising star in the Democratic Party, as he's been called. Please welcome the 6'8" tattooed F-bomb dropping, tweeting, master's degree from Harvard holding Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. It's good to see you, and I introduce you that way for a reason. Because people point out, okay, he's different, he looks different, he sounds different, he's idealist, he's a socialist, he's this and he's that. You say you stand out simply because you tell the truth. It's that simple. So you tell me the truth, as you see it, about how your party, the Democrats, are handling and should handle this last week plus of the Trump presidency.
I think my party is speaking the truth. I mean, I've been saying now since the election, Pennsylvania was in the crosshairs from the election day on, and these lies, I mean, these, thousands and thousands of lies have accrued to the point where, it just combusted in D.C. last Wednesday. And we had a national tragedy that could have been even much more severe. And the Democratic Party is approaching it the right way. I mean, why have impeachment on the books if this isn't the circumstances in which it is used? I can't envision a scenario more fitting for impeachment.
Lieutenant Governor, at that very rally last week in D.C. was a Republican Pennsylvania state senator. It is important to note that he has denied entering the Capitol or participating in any violence, and he has denounced that violence. And yet still there are calls from Democrats that he resign. Where do you stand on that?
I'm calling on his caucus to enforce this idea of how can you have a member of your caucus be participating in this in any way, shape, or form. I leave it to their caucus because they understand what happened. We could have had the same thing happen in Harrisburg. That Tuesday when everything sparked off in our Senate chambers, I had 200 Trump protesters underneath my office balcony protesting. And it could have gone another way in Harrisburg just as easily as it did in D.C. We have to, if you can't hold your own ranks and account, I mean, I don't know what's left.
Lieutenant Governor, you're telling kind of a story there some of our viewers might not be familiar with, but you all were trying to certify there in your state, and Republicans essentially, there was one contested race, so they essentially held it up and would not allow that person to be sworn in of your party, and it became a bit of a raucous there. So you saw what happened in D.C. Maybe everybody's not paying attention to politics there in Pennsylvania, but you actually feel that some of the tension and the tone that we witnessed in D.C. is playing out in other states and including yours, that same vitriol?
100%, 100%. The protesters, the protesters were yelling, insults at me from the rally, and it could have very easily gone differently in Harrisburg on Tuesday, without a doubt. And I want to be clear, I was voted out of the chamber simply because I insisted that a duly democratically elected member of the Senate that was affirmed by the Supreme Court just be allowed to take his seat. And that was what caused all the chaos in our chamber. And then again, outside, we had a protest with hundreds of angry Trump supporters, all repeating the same lies that the president and other Republicans had said over and over again. And let me be clear, our election was free, secure, and true. And that's something that everyone knows to be true, even from the president on down. And that's what makes all of these outrageous lies, that much more just un-American and seditious.
Lieutenant Governor, quickly, I know you are considering a run for Senate in 2022. You tried it back in 2016. You didn't make it past the primary. This time around, though, it might be a little different. People know your name. When are you going to make that decision, and how are you going to make that decision?
Oh, sure. Well, thank you. It's wonderful to be even in this conversation, and I suspect we're going to have a decision in the next several weeks. And the outpouring has been overwhelming. We raised now close to $600,000 in just 4 days, and over 16,000 grassroots donors, and just it's been extraordinary. And all I can say is, just overwhelmed with gratitude, and we'll be making a decision in the upcoming weeks.
feel free to let us know first. Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.